Hi, the topic of today's video is my favorite German artist. And even though I'm Norwegian, I live in Norway, I listen a lot to German music. And I started listening to German music around 6 years ago. And the reason I started listening to German music 6 years ago was because I found German music on the cable TV. I subscribed to a cable TV where I lived in Oslo at the time, and there was several music channels. Before that I listened a lot on regular radio and music channels on cable TV. But I didn't like that a lot of the videos had showed criminal behavior like violence and a lot of negative content, both in the lyrics and in the images. So I decided I wanted to find some better music, and I knew about how important the emotions are, because in 2008 I started reading and listening to teachings of Abraham Hicks, and I'll just show you quickly, I'll show you the emotional scale, which is a fundamental part of the Abraham Hicks teaching. And the emotional scale, that is a scale from high emotions to low emotions. And on the top of the scale you have joy, and here you feel empowerment and love, appreciation for life. And a little bit lower is passion, and a little bit lower is enthusiasm and happiness, eagerness to experience joy, enthusiasm, that's a feeling where you expect even higher feelings. And here you also have just regular happiness, which is not easy to differentiate between what is joy and pure love. And a little bit lower is positive expectation, which is not the same as enthusiasm. Enthusiasm is perhaps more enjoying the moment, while positive expectation is looking forward to better experiences in the future. And a little bit lower than that is optimism, expecting and believing that things will turn out in a positive way. And below that you find hopefulness. That is hoping that things will be better. And while optimism, there you believe. There's a difference between believing and hoping. Hoping is a little bit weaker than believing. And below hopefulness is contentment. So here you have the middle of the scale. At least I've seen in different scales that some put the middle a little bit lower, but I think, at least in my opinion, and as far as I remember, this is a middle point also in Abraham Hicks' teaching, that anything below contentment is just being satisfied with what you have, accepting what is, and just being satisfied. Anything lower is negativity, at least in my opinion. Below contentment you have boredom. And if you're wondering why I'm drawing this and why I'm not talking about emotional scale, the topic of the video is my German artist, my favorite German artists, and I'll get to that. But and it is because of the emotional state that the music puts you in. So the German music, I feel, in my experience, is a lot higher on the emotional scale than a lot of other music. And below boredom you have pessimism. That pessimism is believing that things will not turn out good. Below pessimism is frustration. Also irritation. Impatience. So frustration is a worse feeling than pessimism. Frustration is then you really don't like that things are not the way you want it to be. Well, pessimism is more accepting. You still believe things will not be good, but frustration is worse. Below that is overwhelmment. Feeling overwhelmed, being overwhelmed, that it's too much, that you can't handle it. And below that is disappointment. That is a feeling where you're expecting something better, but it didn't turn out that way, so a negative thing has already manifested in your life. That's typically when you feel disappointment. If you didn't get the job you applied for, that kind of thing. You were rejected by a person you were interested in, then you can feel disappointment. And below that is doubt. Doubt is not believing. It is very similar to pessimism. Lower you have worry. Worry is different from these other feelings. That worry is a deeper feeling of negativity, where you really worry, what shall I do? And you're using energy of thinking, how can you cope with the negative things that might be on its way to your life? That is worrying. Well, it is possible to be pessimistic and not worry. A pessimist can simply say that, oh, I think this will not work out, but that he doesn't worry about it. While a person who worries is lower on the emotional scale. And even lower is blame. It is possible to blame yourself, or you can blame someone else. There's a lower feeling. Then you're putting out also negativity in a much larger degree than just worrying. Worrying doesn't hurt other people necessarily, but blame can hurt other people. And below you have this encouragement. That can be also towards yourself or towards others. That means that you don't support either yourself or you don't support others. Don't support your own ideas and desires. Don't support others' dreams. And you try to stop yourself or you try to stop someone else. That is a negative action. And below you have anger. That is a really negative emotion and is really poisonous to yourself and others. Below that is revenge, feeling of revenge, that you want to take revenge. Of course, if you have a lot of this feeling, then that can lead to criminal behavior, like attacking someone or doing something that can harm other people or yourself. So that's a really negative feeling. Below that is hatred and rage. It's a little bit similar to anger, but hatred is deeper and more personal, so that you are strongly disliking someone else, or it can be yourself, and that you're furious about something. Really negative, poisonous emotion. And below that is a feeling that is, in my opinion, I don't know if it's that common, but I believe it is pretty common, and it's a really low emotion. That is jealousy. That's being jealous of someone having a nice car, or someone having a nice house, being jealous that someone has a lot more money than you have, being jealous that someone has a more beautiful girlfriend or boyfriend, or yeah. And this is really self-sabotaging emotions, because there is something called the law of attraction. That means that the level of emotion that you're most of the time on is that's where you attract things in your life. So if you are feeling jealous, then you will attract negative stuff. You will not attract a nice car if you're jealous of people who have a nice car. And the same with money and everything. So this is a really negative feeling. Below that you have a feeling of being unworthy. And also feeling guilt is a really low emotion. If you know you have done something really horrible, that can give you guilt. That's a very bad emotional state to be in, and a feeling of general being unworthy of love, and that is a very low emotional state. And the lowest of all the emotional states is fear. And also grief. It can be grief that you have lost someone who have died. Fear can be fear of dying, fear of losing someone you love. And here we also have depression. Feeling of despair, of being powerless. This is the lowest emotional state. Yeah, so the reason I drew up this, as I mentioned, was because of music can elevate your emotional state, or music can lower your emotional state, depending on both the lyrics, the text, what the artist is singing about, and also the melody, if it is a positive melody or a negative melody. So 6 years ago I noticed that there was a lot of violence and negativity in the music videos I watched on cable TV. And I wanted to find better music, so I was browsing through the music channels on the cable TV, and I found a German music channel which I discovered I really liked the melodies. I understood some of the lyrics because I studied German in high school and college, but I didn't practice it for many years, so I didn't understand everything, perhaps 50% or something. But what I understood was good, and I had the impression that it was positive and uplifting songs. And the melodies, it was especially the melodies also that I liked a lot. So I liked to listen to that, and I wanted also to listen more to this. I wanted to find these melodies on YouTube. So I tried to remember some parts of the lyrics and write down parts of the lyrics to try to Google the songs and find the artists. And I think the first artist I found was Simone with her song Inferno. And Inferno is a song I feel that is on this level, on passion, singing about passion. And I also remember one of the first songs I listened to on the German music channel was a song by Jürgen Drews, a song called Ich baue dir ein Schloss, which means I'll build you a castle, which is a very positive lyric. If you want to build a castle for someone, then at least you are above content. You are at least hopeful, and you're probably more optimistic than hopeful. He didn't sing that I hope I will build your castle. He sings that I will build your castle. So it is is probably higher than optimism, at least on positive expectation. He expects that he will build a castle, and because of the melody and the way he projects his energy, he projects enthusiasm and positivity. So I think that song from Jürgen Drews is somewhere from the top, somewhere between joy and pure love and positive expectation. Perhaps the song is fluctuating between, in this segment here, which is very high energy, emotion. And I found when I found these two artists on YouTube, then I got also a lot of suggestions of other German artists. And I remember one of those I found early on was Andrea Berg, which is one of the biggest artists in Germany. Andrea Berg is one of the most selling artists in Germany, probably number one. She has a record on the most CD sales in Germany, and she holds each year a very big concert in Asbach, where she invites the biggest artists from all over Germany to sing in her concert. And I really recommend that you Google Andrea Berg and Heimspiel, then you'll find her concerts from the last years. And most of the concerts are available on YouTube, so it's a lot of great content. And she sings with a lot of passion and joy. So I feel she is mainly up here. And also when she sings about more challenging subjects like the breakup of relationships, it's still in an empowering way. It's never in a victim mode where you are blaming someone or being disappointment or frustrated. Never down here, always very strong. I think that she never goes lower than positive expectation that she will overcome this, and this is no big deal. That it can be tough, but that she can always handle it. So her songs is in this range, and she's really creative, very creative stage decorations and costumes, and it's really a great show. Her stage shows are really exciting and entertaining to watch, I think. So yeah, that was three of the artists. I have made a list of 10 of the artists I listen a lot to. So one of the others, which is also really big and has sold a lot of albums over many years and is very popular, is Nena, which became famous for the 99 Luftballons, which I believe was on the Eurovision contest. She has she's still very active and has produced a lot of great music, and it's especially a great concert on YouTube from, I think, 2010 in Berlin, which I can recommend especially. And another really great artist is Wolfgang Petry, who had his last concert in 1999, which I recommend googling. yeah, and he has made a comeback lately also and still producing a lot of great music. And yeah, I can also mention some others. Anna-Carina Woitschack, which I think is really lovely. Very positive. Daniela Dilow. Then we have Laura Wilde, Marie, Michelle, Nik P, and a band called Purus Glück, which means pure joy or pure happiness. So the name says it all. So I encourage you to Google these artists, search for them in YouTube and see if you like their music. In general, all of these artists I mentioned here, I would say are in this range. Their songs are operating on a high emotional state. So a few years ago I completely stopped listening to radio in my car. Now I only listen to MP3 songs. Because in my opinion a lot of the songs on radio and music television on TV, at least I haven't watched it or listened to it for many years, maybe it's changed, but as far as I remember, then in my opinion a lot of the songs that you get in the mainstream channels are very low on the emotional scale, both in imagery in the video and also in the lyrics. And I think also often the melodies are very boring, uninspiring, and so the melodies are also low emotional. And yeah, it can be you can see through the imagery and the lyrics that is about disappointment, blaming a lover who left, or anger, revenge. Yeah, a lot of the music videos are, as far as I remember, you could see there was images of revenge, violence, hatred, jealousy. So and watching and listening to that kind of music is like drinking poison. If you believe in the law of attraction, you attract based on the emotional state you're in. So if you are in a low emotional state, then you will attract more bad stuff into your life. Then you can attract money problems, health problems, relationship problems. And if you don't want to stay in this area, then you should not listen to music that keeps you here or pulls you down. You should listen to music which pulls you up. And if you are here and listen to music which is here, then you might not like the music in the beginning. You might feel that, oh, it's so unrealistic lyrics, and it's not authentic, that it's fake, that these people up here are just pretending. But they are not. They are on this level, but it's a big difference in emotional state. So if you are used to being down here, then you believe that this is being authentic. And anyone who is up here, you might think is fake. So I encourage you to forget about, if you know you are somewhere here, I encourage you to stop listening to bad music, and also even more important, to stop watching negative television. Stop watching anything that has crime in it and violence. So that means you shouldn't go probably to the cinema anymore, and you shouldn't watch cable TV, shouldn't watch news. I don't watch cable TV at all. I haven't connected even the cable from the cable TV. I have it here in the wall, included in the rent, but I haven't connected it to the TV at all, because I think it is, in my opinion, junk. That is negative. It is poison. I don't want to connect a cable with poison to my TV so I can consume poison. So if you are down here and you want to go up here, I recommend changing the music as one thing. And easy solution is just to Google those people. I'll put their names in the description below, and I also put them in the end of the video. So it's easy. It's easy, not difficult at all, to find that music, listen to it, and it will bring your emotional state higher. And if in the beginning, if you don't like it, it is probably because you are down here. But if you get used to it, you will probably over time lift your emotional state. So I encourage you, even if you don't like the music, it's like medicine, it can taste bitter. Most medicine or medicinal plants are bitter. I just had a glass of water right before I taped this, which I put a teaspoon of some bitter herbs. It was really bitter, and I didn't drink it because it tasted good. I drank it because it has a lot of antioxidants and is healthy. And it's the same with this. I think from the beginning I never felt that it was hard to listen to this music. I was in a pretty high emotional state already when I found this music. I had just moved into a penthouse in Oslo, in the best part of Oslo on the western side in Ullern. So I had a top apartment, the penthouse apartment, with a balcony on each side. I had, and that was the first time I had that great of an apartment in my life, at least which I lived in only myself. When I grew up as a child, we lived in a really great house, but after that I lived in student apartments and smaller apartments. So this was the first big apartment, first penthouse apartment that I lived in 2010. And I had just also bought a luxury car, a BMW X1 with pretty much all the equipment, and a garage below, elevator to the car. Everything was very easy and comfortable. So I didn't resonate with any negative music. So it was very easy for me to feel that, oh, I don't want to listen to this. I want to listen to something up here. And then I found the German music. Yeah, I think that was what I wanted to share with you today. I'll put the names of these 10 artists in this video together with just some background music, and I put them also in the description below. So I hope you enjoyed this video. Thank you for watching, and bye bye.